Germany's, I think. If the oh yeah, there it comes. Okay. So, by the way, if at the beginning of this episode you had no sound, don't worry, it was not your computer that was a fault, there was something with the connection here. So normally now it should be working and now you could hear us. I don't know if it improves the quality of the show, if you can actually hear us, but still, we have turned things around. Wouter, I'm going to start with you because you have a telephone call in a few moments, I think.
Coming up, yes.
With the radio?
With radio, yeah.
What radio station is it?
Radio 538.
Radio 538 in the Netherlands. So when people see you run away and they are in the Netherlands, they can just tune to Radio 538 and
where I will continue the story, hopefully also with good audio. So
is there more press attention than the previous years?
Yeah, well, we see some more press attention, and that is of course because the Dutch are not participating in the World Cup.
Really? So tell me all about it, Wouter.
What I should say is that robots are participating in the World Cup.
That's true.
Soccer, Dutch, so that's good, and that's what we like. And apparently the media in Holland as well. So I'm going to get the call.
The telephone is there, so everyone in the Netherlands, this is the moment to tune in to Radio 538, well, or the same numbers in a different order.
538 it is.
538. But we'll go on here, and you can always watch back. You can always look it up on YouTube and scroll back to the moment where you left, so you can see the rest of the show. Good. Short thing about mid-size league, because Wouter is gone now.
Yeah.
They have played 3 games today. I've been following the games. First one was 9-0 against the ASML Falcons. The Falcons had some issues, new robots, new localization software, so they had some things to solve. And then they think the second game was 5-0. And then they had the important game against the Chinese team Water. And they won 3-2, but it was a tight game, so probably this year's World Cup will again be this tight competition.
Yeah, and I know from previous Robo Cups that like Water has an extra level, which they only show in the final. So
they always have this secret that they will not show during the tournament. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So we'll see what happens. But the reason why we are a bit earlier today with this talk show is because we have a next live stream of a football match that is going to happen in 45 minutes. So 1:45. The next hour, so that will be 9:45, I think, in the Netherlands and in Belgium. You can tune in on robocup.live for the next football game of the mid-size league. But let's talk about the at-home competition. You said you opened the day with the speech and person recognition.
yeah, that's true.
Is this kind of the basics that you have to achieve to build on for the next assignments?
No, not all the things that are in the challenge are like really needed to compete in the rest of the competition. But of course, yeah, speech recognition and basic interaction with humans is very important, of course.
Yeah. We were there, we interviewed you before and after, and we have, I think, some images of the competition itself, the speech and person recognition of Sergio? No, it was Amigo.
It was Amigo.
It was Amigo, the robot Amigo. First day of competitions, not just in the football leagues, but also in the at-home league. First challenge of this competition is speech and person recognition. Can the robot understand what people are saying? Can the robot recognize people and keep following them all around when they are moving? Let's see how they are doing. This should be easy for a robot like Amigo, very experienced robot. This afternoon will be a bit more difficult. Will be help me carry and store the groceries, 2 different challenges. But first, speech and person recognition. Matthijs, how did it go, the speech and person recognition for Amigo?
Yeah, indeed. Amigo in the speech and person recognition this morning. I think he did an okay job. We had some problems understanding the questions. There was a lot of noise there, and like it's always the case, and people are not speaking that loud. So there was the problems, but at least the sound source localization was working really good. So when Amigo heard a question, he had to answer to the person, so he had to rotate to the person, and that was doing really good.
So after this first challenge, is there already a score? Is there already a chart?
Yeah, so we did 3 runs, and then the final score is the average of the best 2. So I think our scores now is 87.5 points. Yeah. So I don't know yet what the score of the other teams are, but I think we did a good job. So we are close.
Okay. Good luck also for the following days. So that was the speech and person recognition, and then in the afternoon you had the help me carry, and you switched robots. You went from Amigo to Sergio. Is this a risk to work on 2 platforms?
No, not really, because most of the software is shared between the robots. So only like the software which is specific for the robot, because it's of course it's different. It's a different size, dimensions. So that's different. For the rest, they're the same. And actually it's better to use Sergio for that one, because it's driving further away, and while it's driving it's like counting where it's going. Okay. And so that's how it knows where it is. So Sergio can do more than Amigo? Yeah, it has suspension, and therefore there's less slip of the wheels. Okay. And therefore it can track its position better. And that's really helpful when you're driving further away. Yeah. And then, did you also have the challenge where it has to sort out the groceries? No, that's still coming up later today. And that will probably be Amigo again, since Sergio has no arms. Indeed, we're going to have to manipulate some objects, so picking up and placing objects, so we need the arms. So it's Amigo for that one. And so then the pattern recognition really comes in to know what object is what and to know where it goes. Yes. Okay. How are you? How far are you with the pattern recognition software? Is it stable? It's still tested at the moment, so. Okay. But we have, like, if it's not recognizing it correctly, we have still a backup in the software, so hopefully it will. Okay. You can go back to a previous. No, it's in the same software, but during the challenge, it can make some mistake, and then if there's a mistake, it will always have a backup option to execute it. Okay, so that's something that is coming up today. What brings the day of tomorrow for you in the at home? So tomorrow is the GPSR, the General Purpose Service Robot. So that's actually the end goal of this competition, I would say. We want to have a robot which you can like give a command at any time, and then it should execute it. So it should be really generic and dynamic. Yeah. So that's a really complex, difficult challenge to program. So we've been working on that for a long time. So hopefully we will score some points there. But that's kind of moving towards the real household robot that is just present in your home and that you can address at any time that you want with the thing it has to do at that time. Yeah, that's actually how I would be in a home indeed, yeah. Yeah. Good. So in the at-home competition, you have the open platform, you build your own robots, and then you have the standard platform. Johannes, you are working with a Pepper robot from SoftBank. I also noticed some other robots, some Toyota HSR robots. Is it a different standard platform competition?
Yes, so right now in at home we have 3 leagues. So it's the open platform league, and then 2 standard leagues, and one is with the Pepper by SoftBank and then the Toyota HSR.
Yeah. What would be the difference between these two standard platforms?
So Pepper is more geared towards human-robot interaction, and the HSR is more like a little bit closer to the open platform competition, where it's more about manipulating objects, maybe driving around a little bit more, and yeah.
Oh, so the focus in your competition would be on the interaction between the human and the robot?
Yes, so for example, the Open Platform League and the Toyota, as we just heard, they will store groceries, but the Pepper will do a different task, which is he will play a waiter in a cocktail party.
Ah, okay.
So there's like the differences. Yeah.
So Pepper is a robot built by SoftBank or Aldebaran. They say well, it used to be Aldebaran, and then it was bought by SoftBank. They say it's the big brother of the Now. Well, this is a small version of the Now. The real Now robots are about this high. Now, the big difference I would think is that the Now has these legs, and that in Pepper, for stability and because you don't really need them, they are replaced with wheels.
Yeah, so the Pepper can move much faster than the Now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it doesn't. It's quite annoying for service robots if it takes them ages to go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now Pepper also has hands, but can you really use them to pick things up, or are they not agile enough for this?
Okay, so they're not really intended for grasping, I would say, but we are trying some things so he can at least hold trays for being a waiter, so he can maybe hold a tray, a custom tray. That's possible, but they are mainly used for like gestures and yeah.
Good, so the difference would be that you put a lot of time also in mechanics, in hardware and things like that. You buy this standard robot, but what do you do next? I think there's a lot of software in the robot. Do you build on the software that is in the robot already, or do you completely reprogram it?
Okay, so for the Pepper, we almost completely reprogrammed it.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, as Matthijs said, they're using shared software between the robots, and that's also what we try to do at home in our lab. We have more than the Pepper robot, and there we also try to have as much code shared as possible. So we wanted to use our own code also on the Pepper. Yeah.
Ah, because you started with the open platform. You used to have your own robot, and can you really just copy the software that you had for your own robot to the Pepper?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no. So obviously there are, so our old open platform robot, there are quite a few big differences to the Pepper where we have to, of course, adapt some things, but there is software that is running the same on both the robots, yeah.
Okay, could you maybe shortly explain what sensors and motors are in there that you can address as a programmer?
Sure. So the top of the head, the Pepper has 4 microphones. So that's useful to actually know where sound is coming from, so it can look at the person when they're talking. Then at the side here, there are 2 speakers. So when the robot speaks, it comes out of the ears, basically. And then there are 2 color cameras. So one here, and this one is pointed downwards. And then there's a depth camera up here. So yeah, and then you can, as you can see, you can actuate the head and the arms, of course, and the hips a little bit. And then, of course, you have the base, and in the base we have 2 sonar sensors for like basic obstacle avoidance or to see if something is in front. And then there are 3 laser scanners at the bottom, yeah, also for obstacle avoidance and for navigation. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a short look at the future. I think the purpose of the at-home robots is to really build this household robot, but maybe an assistance robot for people with for older people or people with disabilities would maybe be the first thing we see come to the market before the real household robot.
Yeah, so the scope of at home is a little bit larger than just a robot at home. So as I said, like there is also a restaurant task, which also you guys will compete. So that is outside of at home, and they're always looking for competitions that you want from a service robot that are not necessarily at home. I think a few years ago the robots had to go to a supermarket and there's this idea floating around that the robot has to take the public transport, and so there are ideas like that also in development.
So programming a robot to take the bus and the train to another location. Amazing. But what would be realistic? I think you have kind of a view on the development of these platforms. What would be the moment that we see a big industrial player bringing a real consumer and a robot to the market?
So you already see like the Toyota is bringing the HSR, but it's really still a research platform. Before it actually go to even a hospital or to people's homes, it's still a long way to go, because right now it's always us helping the robot and not the robot helping us.
Yeah.
So that's the big switch we have to make. And yeah, I think it could be like 20 years even before it's really robust that robots will be at home. But yeah, like we are developing a lot of technology, and of course all these bits of technology will come to us earlier than that, but like in the small pieces.
That's the thing that we also see in the football competition. There is so much coming together. There is the pattern recognition, the speech recognition, the planning, the worldview, the mechanics. It's all there. There's so many pieces to this puzzle that have to perfectly work together. So you think another 20 years before we have the real Watson assistant in our house?
Yeah, I think so. You definitely see like Siri and all these tools, and there will maybe definitely a robot which will not be moving, but just like memorizing older people about their task they have to do. Yeah, these kind of robots can be in homes much earlier.
Yeah.
But like moving robots that they're not damaging the house, safe to the people, and also executing some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will take some time.
I think it's a great idea that we wait until they're safe. So that's absolutely the best strategy. So I think we can close here for this day at RoboCup. We will be back tomorrow, I think, at our regular time of 10 o'clock in the Netherlands, probably. It always depends a bit on the games that the mid-size league is playing, because we broadcast them live on the live stream and we try to work around it. And that is the reason why we were a bit earlier. So in a bit less than, let's say in 20 minutes, you can join us again on this live stream for a new football match between Tech United and another team in the mid-size league. So we hope to see you for that match. Thank you very much, by the way, Matthijs and Johannes, for being here and explaining the things about the at-home competition. And we see you in a minute or tomorrow for the next Today at RoboCup. Thank you for watching.